Okay, so Hare Krishna, we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila. And today we start chapter 16, the pastimes of the Lord in his childhood and youth. So would somebody like to read the summary?
Can I
I can read, Prabhuji.
Sure, either one of you is fine.
Should I read it?
Sure.
Okay. This chapter fully describes Lord Chaitanya's Kishore Lila, all the activities he performed just before attaining youth. During this time, he studied deeply and was victorious over greatly learned scholars. During his Kishore Lila, the Lord also sported in the water. He went to East Bengal to secure financial assistance, cultivating knowledge, and introduced the Sankirtan movement. And there he met Tapana Mishra, whom he instructed about spiritual advancement in order to go to Varanasi. While Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring East Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi was bitten by a serpent of separation, and thus she left this world. When the Lord returned home, he saw that his mother was overwhelmed with grief because of Lakshmi Devi's death. Therefore, at her request, he later married his second wife, Vishnu Priya Devi. This chapter also describes the Lord's argument with Keshav Kashmiri, the celebrated scholar, and the Lord's criticism over his prayer glorifying Mother Ganga. In this prayer, the Lord found 5 kinds of literary ornaments and 5 kinds of literary faults, thus defeating the Pandita. Later, the Kashmiri Pandit, who was known to have been victorious all over the country, submitted himself to the goddess of learning, and by her order, he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the morning of the next day and surrendered into him. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So in this chapter, we do the Kishore Lila. What other 2 Lila we have done so far in the previous 2 chapters?
The last chapter we read Prabhuji, was Fagunda Lila, which is the age between 5 to 10.
Yes.
And in that we learned how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu learned the grammar from Gangadas Pandit. And then he also instructed his mother, Sachi Devi, not to eat grains on the Akashi day. And he also got married to Lakshmi Priya, who was the daughter of Vallabhacharya.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu.
That is all, Prabhuji. I can remember.
Very nice, Prabhu. Before that, what Lila did we do? Before that chapter?
childhood pastime?
Yes, so Bal Lila,
Bal Lila.
Kumar Lila, Bal Lila, same thing. And the Pagan Lila, now Kishore Lila. So Kishore Lila is age 11 to 15.
Yeah.
So it was same with Lord Krishna's Kishore Lila also. So he's now age 11, 15, but the pastimes are different. So we'll talk about some of those pastimes. Okay, text 1. Kripa Suddha Saridayasya Vishwam Aplavayanti Api Nich Gav Sada Bhati Tam Chaitanya Prabhum Bhaje. I worship Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose nectarian mercy flows like a great river, inundating the entire universe. Just as a river flows downstream, Lord Chaitanya especially extends himself to the fallen. Oh, what a great point. So please read the purport that we'll talk about.
I'll read, Prabhu.
Go ahead. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah. Purport. Narottama Dasa Thakura has sung Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Vedakara More. He prays for Lord Chaitanya's mercy because he is the mercy incarnation, having appeared especially to reclaim the fallen souls. The more fallen one is, the greater one's claim to the favor of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One must only be very sincere and serious, despite being contaminated by all the bad qualities of this Kali Yuga. If one surrenders unto the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord will surely and certainly deliver him. The best example is Jagai and Madai. In this age of Kali, practically everyone is like Jagai and Madai. But the Sankirtana movement inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still flowing like a great river in undating the entire world. And thus, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness is successfully claiming all fallen souls to free them from contamination. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. This is a very important verse. So it's talking about how merciful Lord Chaitanya is. And he says that he has appeared especially to reclaim the fallen souls. Generally speaking, you will say, well, fallen souls are thrown aside. Who wants to deal with them? But Lord Chaitanya is coming especially for them. The more fallen one is, the greater is the one's claim to get the favor of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually, there are two verses, two bhajans, I should say, by Narottam Das Thakur, that talk about that. The first one being quoted here, because of like Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Daya Karo More, Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Sansare. So translated is saying, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please have mercy upon me, because there's no one in the whole material world who's as merciful as you are. And then next line says, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. You have appeared here simply to deliver the fallen souls. And then Narottam Das Thakur, showing his humility, he says, Mosama Patita Prabhu Ke Achya. Who's more or like as fallen as I am in the whole world? So he's saying, my dear Lord, look at me. I am the most deserving of your mercy because I am the
Most
most
violent.
fallen. So what beautiful sentiments that. And then there is another bhajan that starts with like Hari Hari Bifale Janama Goainu. Has anybody heard that?
No.
Do you say yes or no?
I have
No.
heard, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's a very famous one and very wonderful bhajan. And the last stanza in this particular bhajan says, Brajendra Nandan Jai, Shachisita Hoilo Sai, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So Lord Krishna, the son of Brajendra, or Nanda Maharaj, has appeared as Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Balaram has appeared as Lord Nityananda. Then it says, Deenaheen Jato Chilo, Hari Name Uddharilo, Tar Sakshi Jagai Madhai. Whatever fallen souls were there, whatever people were there who had nothing, you delivered them simply by giving them the holy name. And the best evidence of that is Jagai and Madhai. Even someone like Jagai and Madhai was delivered by you. And Jagai and Madhai was so sinful that actually Chitragupt had a whole team of people writing his activities, sinful activities. And they were giving up, saying, we can't keep up. We don't have enough paper left to write down. You know, I don't know if they have hard disks and computers there, but if they had that, they'll be out of capacity. Every moment they were committing some sinful act. And they were delivered by Lord Chaitanya, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So they say Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, but Lord Nityananda is even more merciful. So together they are the most merciful people. But what is the qualification? One must be sincere and serious about this. So sometimes people ask, well, there's so many people, how come they did not get delivered? Well, they were not sincere, they were not serious in receiving the mercy. So mercy can be given only to the person who wants to receive it. If nobody's receiving it, he'll fall on the floor, on the ground, and nobody gets it. Right? For some reason, it's reminding me of a story. It's not relevant at all, but somehow I'm remembering it, so I'll just tell you. This is about a pastime of Lord Jagannath. So there was a very wonderful devotee. His name was Raghu. And he was such a wonderful devotee that Lord would actually go and play with him. Lord Jagannath will go and play with him, literally play. So one day, Lord Jagannath said to Raghu, Raghu, I feel like having some kathal, which is jackfruit. So Raghu said, what's the problem, my lord? I'll go to the king, and not one, he'll send you thousands of kathals. He'll send you 100 every day. No problem. He said, no, 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 no. We have to go and steal it. So Raghu said, my dear lord, you don't need to steal. You're the lord. The king will be so happy to give you as many as you want. Every day if you want. Multiple times a day if you want. What's the problem? Why do you have to steal it? He said, Raghu, you don't understand. And I said in Hindi, and I translate this. जो मजा चुरा के खाने में है, वो दिल के खाने में नहीं. Which means, the taste you get from stealing it is not the taste you get from getting it. So therefore, I want to steal it. So he said, okay. So they went to the garden, this king's garden, and they snaked in there, and they looked around, and the Lord saw a really nice, juicy, ripe jackfruit on the tree. And he said, Raghu, go climb up, pick it, and then throw it, I'll catch it. So I said, okay. So he climbed up, plucked it, looked down. Lord Jagannath was standing there. He said, throw it. He said, my dear Lord, you're not going to play tricks on me, are you? Because you were tricky. So you will catch it, right? He said, of course, I'm standing right here, my hand extended, I will catch it. And Raghu asked again, my dear Lord, you sure you will catch it? And you're not going to play any games with me? He said, no, I'm telling you, I'll catch it. I said, okay. So Raghu threw it from high up branch down for the Lord to catch it. As soon as he threw it, Lord disappeared. So sure enough, fell on the ground, big thud sound, broke into a million pieces, and the guard came running when he heard the sound. And he saw there's nobody there, but it's a million pieces of jackfruit. Then he looked up, and there's Raghu sitting there. So he called him down, he said, come down. He knew who Raghu is, but Raghu was also very famous. And next morning, he took him to the king. And he said, I caught Raghu stealing jackfruit, so I brought him to you. My dear Raghu, you didn't have to steal. All you have to is tell me. Ask me, I'll give you hundreds, thousands if you want. Why did you have to steal it? So Raghu told the whole story, how Lord told him to do this, and then he disappeared when I threw it. And the king said, okay, I know his tricks, but I will send 100 jackfruits every day for Lord's pleasure. So he started sending jackfruits. Anyway, just a reminder, when you throw it, if nobody did catch it, it becomes a problem. So Lord wasn't there to catch it, and Raghu got into trouble. Anyway, so then Prabhupada is saying in the purport that in the age of Kali, practically everyone is like Jagai and Madhan. Practically everyone. But Lord Chaitanya is like a great river flowing down. So what's the property of the water? Which direction does it flow? High to low or low to high?
High to low, Prabhuji.
High to low. That's the nature of water. So all rivers flow down. So Prabhupada is saying that Lord Chaitanya's mercy is like flowing of a great river. It goes from high to low. In other words, the lower you are, means the more fallen you are, the more mercy is available to you. You simply have to want to receive it. So mercy of the Lord is flowing like a great river, inundating the whole world. Anybody in the world can get it. You just have to want it. It's like You stand at the beach and say, I'm not entering the water, then your feet will never get wet. So you have to want to receive it. But those who want to receive it, the more fallen they are, the more mercy is available to them. Okay? That's the nature of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Actually, all Vaishnavas also.
Prabhuji, I just want to make a comment there. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to US, he did the same thing. Like he would bestow his mercy on these, what we call malachas at that time. So undiscriminately, he give them Harinam and put them into Sankirtan movement. And those of them, some of them become like very advanced devotees later on and take sannyas, and some of them still preaching Krishna consciousness in India or other parts of the world.
Right. So the Lord is merciful, his devotees have been more merciful. So Prabhupada is definitely more merciful. Okay, text 2. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. So once again, this in every chapter you see this prayer at the start of the prayer, at the chapter. Text 3. Jiyat Kishore Chaitanya Murti Matya Grihasramat Lakshmi Archito Atha Vagdevya Disham Jai Jai Chalat. Long live Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Kishore age. Both the goddess of fortune and the goddess of learning worshipped him. So what's the name of goddess of fortune?
Lakshmi,
It's
Prabhuji?
goddess of learning.
Saraswati.
Saraswati.
Yes. So they both worship him. The goddess of learning, Saraswati, worshipped him in his victory over the scholar who had conquered all the world. So this is now referring to the Kashmiri Pandit pastime that we'll talk about in this chapter. And the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, worshipped him at home. So Lakshmi Devi was at home, and goddess Saraswati, through this Digvijay Pandit, worshipped him. Since he is therefore the husband or lord of both goddesses, I offer my obeisances unto him. So he's the husband of Saraswati, he's the husband of Lakshmi, and offer my obeisances. Text 4. यही तो किशोर लीला और सूत्र अनुबंध शिष्यगण पढ़ाईते करिला आरंभ. At the age of 11, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to teach students. This marks the beginning of his Kishore age. So at 11, Kishore age starts. Text 5. शत शत शिष्य संगे सदा अध्यापन व्याख्याशनि सर्वलोकेर चमकित मन. As soon as the Lord became a teacher, many students came to him. Every one of them astonished to hear his mode of explanation. Amazing explanations. And he won't just explain it once. He'll explain it, establish it one way, then he'll contradict it. No, this is not right. And establish a different way. And contradict back and establish the original one. So he was just absolutely amazing how he explained things. Text 6. Sarva Shastra Sarva Pandit Paye Parajay Vinay Bhangite Karo Dukh Nahi Hoye. Translation. The Lord defeated all kinds of scholars in discourses about all the scriptures. Yet, because of his gentle behavior, none of them were unhappy. So he was defeating them but not insulting them. In their defeat, they felt good, which is quite a talent. You defeat somebody and he feels good. It's like they say, the definition of the word diplomacy is that you tell somebody to go to hell in such a nice way, he asks for directions. So this is like a real talent to have, to defeat somebody and not make them feel bad about this. Text 7. विविध औद्धत्य करे शिष्यगण संगे जानवीते जल केली करे नाना रंगे. The Lord as a teacher performed various kinds of pranks in his sporting pastimes in the water of the Ganges. So, I'm a children, 11 years old, and what do you expect? He's still a child. He became a teacher, but he's still a child. So he'll do all sorts of sports in the water. Splash water at each other and chase each other and put somebody's leg under the water and things like that. He'll be doing all that. And actually, some of the pastimes that are not mentioned here, but they're mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, are like he will see Gadadhar Pandit, who was basically the same age as Lord Chaitanya, and he'll ask questions. So, for example, one day he said, "So tell me, what is the definition of liberation?" And Gadadhar Pandit said, "Well, liberation is cessation of material anxieties and material miseries." And he said, "No," and he contradicted completely. And the Gadadhar Pandit said, "Yeah, you're right." "No," and he established it back to what Gadadhar Pandit has said. So he'll do things like that. Um, Similarly, Murari Gupta was there. You do the same kind of things with him. And when Gupta got so fried, I guess, that one day he was walking on the street and he saw Lord Chaitanya with one of his disciples, and Mukunda changed the directions and ran away. So the disciple said to Lord Chaitanya, "Why did he run away?" And Lord Chaitanya said, "Well, he ran away because he doesn't want to waste his time arguing with me." But he said to the disciple, "But I'll tell you one thing. One day I'll get to a point where he would love my association. He'll beg for my association. And I'm going to soon show that side of me." So he's talking about when he becomes a devotee, very good to always want us. So many pastimes like that. Okay. Text 8. कत दिन कैले प्रभु बंगेते गमन जहां जाए तहार लोई आए नाम sankirtan. After some days, the Lord went to East Bengal, and wherever he went, he introduced Sankirtan movement. So read the purport, please.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Although Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees in a disciplic section can defeat all kinds of learned scholars, scientists, and philosophers in argument, thus establishing the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. Their main business as a preacher is to introduce Sankirtan everywhere. Simply to defeat scholars and philosophers is not the occupation of a preacher. Preacher must simultaneously introduce the Sankirtan movement, for that is the mission of the Chaitanya cult. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so very important lesson in this purport. That Prabhupada is saying that we're not in the business of defeating all these scholars and scientists and philosophers with our arguments. That's not our main business. We do that if we need that's what's required to convince them of our perspective, but that's not our main business. Our main business is to establish the supremacy of the Lord and preach about him and preach the holy name of the Lord. Distribute the holy name of the Lord. That's our main mission. And so that's what we should be doing. So actually, sometimes I'm sure you've noticed also, sometimes you get somebody giving a class in the temple. Now, in a temple, especially on a Sunday feast, more than half the people are brand new. Others are maybe 1 year, 2 years, and a few are old timers. So you have mixed audience. But I've seen that many times the speaker will speak such high level of philosophy, use such hard words that nobody understands. So all they have done is maybe impressed everybody saying, "Oh, they're great scholars, they know so much." But that hour is wasted because nobody understood anything. Everybody just went above their head. So Prabhupada is saying, the purpose is to spread the holy name, do the Sankirtan movement, which means the holy name, and distribute the books. That's what benefits people, so do that. Okay? So that's what Lord Chaitanya was doing also. Now, why did he go there in the first place? Does anybody know? Why did he go to East Bengal in the first place?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
There's about 25 people in the class.
What is the question, Prabhuji?
What
But
was
are
the
you
purpose of his trip to East Bengal? The original purpose.
to spread the Sankirtan program?
That's true, but that's not the reason he gave to his mother. Hmm?
What Prabhu you said? The reason?
Like, what's the reason that he gave why he was going to East Bengal? Like, he had to explain to his wife, he had to explain to his mother why I'm going.
Okay, then is that banks of Varanasi where all these?
No, there's East Bengal.
East Bengal.
East Bengal.
Yes.
Okay, so he said, I need to earn some money
Okay.
so I can run the household. So he went there to earn money. That was the supposed reason. And that is why he was giving so many classes. Unlike people give him dakshina, and that is a way of collecting funds. But the Lord is the Lord, the devotee is the devotee. They cannot avoid preaching the holy name. So he was doing that also. Okay. Text 9. Vidyar prabhav dekhi chamatkar chite shat shat paduya asi lagila padite. Struck with wonder by the influence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intellectual prowess, many hundreds of students came to the Lord and began studying under his direction. So all these people give some good dakshana. That's how I was collecting funds at that time. Now something interesting happens. Text 10. Sahi deshe vipranam mishya tapan nischay karite nare sadhya sadhan. In East Bengal, there was a Brahmin named Tapan Mishra who could not ascertain the objective of life and how to attain it. So what's the objective of life?
To attain Krishna Prem
Yes. And how to attain it?
by chanting.
The chanting. The main process is chanting, yes. There are other things, but main process is chanting. So, purport is very short, I'll just read it. One must first ascertain the object of life and then understand how to attain it. The Krishna consciousness movement is pointing out to everyone that the object of life is to understand Krishna. To understand Krishna is to love Krishna. And to attain that goal of life, one must practice Krishna consciousness, following the methods prescribed by the Goswamis with reference to the authoritative Shastras and Vedas. So know Krishna, love Krishna, and know practice Krishna consciousness to attain that love. Okay. So this Brahmin, Tapan Mishra, was confused how to get it. What is it and how to get it? Text 11. And it's going to explain why that was the case. Why was he confused? Bahushastre bahuvakye chitte brahma hoye sadhya sadhana shresht na hoye nischay. So here's a problem many people have. If one becomes a bookworm, reading many books and scriptures and hearing many commentaries and instructions of many men, this will produce doubt within his heart. One cannot in this way ascertain the real goal of life.
That's so true. This is so true, Prabhuji.
Yes, so many.
And this is also said by Srila Prabhupada is basically emphasizing on this point, Prabhuji, not to read any other books except ISKCON books, which are like authorized scriptures.
Correct. Exactly. So there's a reason why Prabhupada is saying that, because you get all confused.
Yep.
The Vedas, they all have different opinions. Rishis, they will not be called great rishis unless they give opinion different from other people. If you hear 3 rishis and read 3 Vedas, you are totally confused because everything seems to be saying something different. Particularly if you have other sampradayas, they say something slightly different. It's all confused. Prabhupada said, don't go anywhere. I've given everything you need in my books. Just read these books. Okay, this is why some people start going to other Maharajas and other sadhus, and they come back and they say, well, they said this, now I'm confused. Well, of course you're confused. So don't do that, right? Okay, so let's read the purport.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead, yeah.
In Srimad Bhagavatam 7:13-8, it is said, Granthan Naiva Bhashyad Bahuna Vyakham Upayanajita. One should not read many books, nor should one try to make a profession of reciting many books, especially if one is a devotee. One must give up the ambition to be a learned scholar and in this way earn a worldly reputation and financial facilities. If one diverts his attention to studying many books, he cannot fix his mind in devotional service, nor can he understand many scriptures, for they are full of grave statements and meanings. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives his opinion that those who are attached to studying many kinds of literature concerning various subjects, matters, especially fruitive activities and philosophical speculation, are deprived of unalloyed devotional service because of their supplied attention.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, there is a very nice verse that was spoken by Yudhishthir Maharaj and is quoted by Lord Chaitanya in Madhya Lila, chapter 13, text 186. It says, Tarko pratishtha shutya bhinnam tishiya vasya chetamatir na bhinnam dharmam dharmam something neta guhaya mahajanajen gatirna panta. He's saying there's no use of dry arguments because they will not reach any conclusion. All the Vedas have different opinions. All the rishis, they're not considered great unless their opinion is different from other people. But the tattva, dharma se tattva, nihita guhaya, the tattva of the dharma is hidden in the hearts, the cave-like hearts of the devotees. So the best way to understand is mahajanojan katasapanta. Follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees. Very simple. So you want to understand the philosophy, follow in the footsteps of pure devotees. Okay. So stop reading all these books, stop going to all these sampradayas, stop going to all these other sadhus and all that. They may be great on their own. But if you go to many, you'll get confused. So just read Srila Prabhupada's books. That's for us.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's read the next paragraph.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Of course, go ahead.
Man has a general tendency toward fruitive activities, religious ritualistic ceremonies, and philosophical speculation. A living entity, thus bewildered since time immemorial, does not understand the real goal of life, and thus his activities in life are wasted. Innocent persons, misled in this way, are deprived of unalloyed Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. Tapan Mishra is a vivid example of such a person. He was a learned scholar, but he could not ascertain what the goal of life is. Therefore, he was given a chance to hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Sanatana Goswami. Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Tapan Mishra is especially significant for persons who loiter here and there, collecting books and reading none of them, thus becoming bewildered regarding the aim of life. Hare Krishna.
It says here, especially significant for persons who loiter here and there, collecting books and reading none of them. So it reminds me one time my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, went to somebody's house and he was going to give a class. So he said, can you bring this canto of Bhagavatam? So the devotee went downstairs, brought the book, gave it to him. And Guru Maharaj noticed that the plastic cover had not been removed. So this person had the whole set for many years, but never opened it. Well, I mean, in one way, it's better than not having it, but the real benefit is actually reading it. So please read it. So I saying, a lot of people just don't read them and they become bewildered regarding the aim of life. Another thing to notice here is that Lord Chaitanya did not preach to Tapan Mishra right away. Rather, he said, go to Banaras. He said, go to Varanasi. From East Bengal, go to Varanasi. There, he didn't say it, but there he was going to who did he preach in Varanasi? The one very famous person,
Sanatan Goswami.
Sanatan Goswami. Yes.
Mm.
So he said, you attend the class that I give Sanatan Goswami,
Mm.
and then you get all the philosophy. So Tapan Mishra attended it with Sanatan Goswami in Varanasi when Lord Chaitanya was teaching Sanatan Goswami. Okay. So anyway, the main point is that stick to one thing. Ananya in many ways. Ananya in Ananya Bhakti meaning only Krishna, nobody else. Ananya Grantha means only Granthas that are recommended for our Sampradaya and nothing else. Only one process in Kali Yuga, nothing else. That's holy name, chanting the holy name. Right? Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita uses the word Ananya many, many times. Right? Ananya Ashintyanto Mam, Jajana Paripaste. Ananya Chetsa Sattam, Yomam Smriti Nitisha. At so many places. Ananya is very important. We keep running to many, many people. Prabhupada gave the example of a woman having 15 husbands. That's not a chaste woman. So same thing. We have to be chaste to the Lord. Ananya. Okay. Text 12. स्वप्ने एक विप्र कहे सुनहु तपन निमाय पंडित पाशे करहु गमन. Tapan Mishra, being thus bewildered, was directed by a Brahmana in a dream to go to Nimai Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually he got a dream, somebody telling him to go to Lord Chaitanya, who's visiting East Bengal, which is basically his place. Text 13. तेहो तुम्हार साध्य साधन करिबे निश्चय साक्षात ईश्वर तेहो नाहिक संशय. Because he is the Lord, Ishwar, the Brahmana told him, undoubtedly he can give you proper direction. If he can't, who can? So Brahman in the dream said, go to him. Text 14. स्वप्न देखी मिश्रासी प्रभुर चरणे स्वप्नेर वृत्तांत सब कैल निवेदने. After seeing the dream, Tapan Mishra came to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. He described all the details of the dream to the Lord. So he was very honest. He said, that was my confusion. That's the dream I saw. Because of the dream, I'm coming to you. Text 15. प्रभु तुष्ट होया साध्य साधन कहिल नाम संकीर्तन करो उपदेश कैल. Translation. The Lord, being satisfied, instructed him about the object of life and the process for attaining it. He instructed him that the basic principle of success is to chant the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra. So that's the process. You don't need to do anything, just chant. Let's see the purport.
I can read, bro.
Please go ahead, Vishnumurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Krishna consciousness movement is based upon this instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly and according to the prescribed principles. We simply ask our Western students to chant at least 16 rounds a day, but sometimes we find that they fail to chant even these 16 rounds. And instead, they bring many Ashtar books and a worshipping method that diverts their attention in so many ways. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult is based upon the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Lord Chaitanya first advised Tapan Mishra to fix his mind on this chanting. We, the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, must strictly follow this advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
So the point being made is that what Prabhupada brought was not his whim, not his mental concoction, not something he manufactured. It's very much bona fide. It's coming directly from the Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Text 16. तार इच्छा प्रभु संगे नवद्वीपे बसी प्रभु आज्ञा दिल तुम्ही जाओ वाराणसी. Tapan Mishra desired to live with the Lord in Navadvip, but the Lord asked him to go to Varanasi. No, you go there. Text 17. तहाँ आमा संगे तोमार होबे दर्शन आज्ञा पाया मिश्र कैल काशीते गमन. The Lord assured Tapan Mishra that they would meet again in Varanasi. Receiving this order, Tapan Mishra went there. I mean, here's the surrender. He says, leave East Bengal, go to Varanasi. He says, okay, I'm going. Who was do we know about? Very famous story. The Lord said, go do something. I said, okay, I'll do it. Actually, I have traveled a lot, but I'll travel, even though I'm very old. Who are we talking about?
Prabhuji, you're talking about to bring the chandan to
Yes, Madhavendra Puri.
Madhavendra, yeah.
Very old age, go to Nilachal, almost 2,000 kilometers from Vrindavan. So go bring it at your old age. And then bring it back. So, like, imagine 20 kilograms of chandan. Bring it back 2,000 kilometers, walk back. And he said, yes, okay, no problem. So similarly, Tapan Mishra says, okay, no problem. I'll leave home. I'll go to Varanasi. That's a commitment. That's the surrender. How many of us have that? And then we wonder why we're not advancing. Right? We are very, well, not only we are very selfish, but we are very clever. We always weigh the pros and cons and the benefits versus loss. We do the cost benefit analysis of all the instructions. And then only if it makes sense, we say, okay, we'll do it. Otherwise, we haggle. Instead of that, can I do this? But that doesn't work. Rupa Goswami said, pay the price, whatever that price is paid. If you want to get Krishna Prema, you have to pay the price. And pay it, whatever that is. Don't haggle. But when you haggle, you get something diluted. Okay? Text 18. Prabhur Tarki Lila bujite na pari susang chanaya kene pathaye kashi puri. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, I cannot understand the inconceivable pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For although Tapan Mishra wanted to live with him in Navadvip, the Lord advised him to go to Varanasi. Now, this poor guy, Tapan Mishra, said, I just want to spend time with you. I want to serve you. Prasad said, no, go to Varanasi. And Krishnadas Kaviraj said, I don't understand that. So let's see the purport.
Shall I go?
Please go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
When Tapan Mishra met him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in household life, and there was no indication that in the future he would accept the sannyasa order. But by asking Tapan Mishra to go to Varanasi, he indicated that in the future he would accept sannyasa, and that when he would teach Sanatan Goswami, Tapan Mishra would take advantage of the opportunity to learn the object of life and the real process for attaining it.
Yes. So clearly, he asked the question and the Lord answered it briefly. He said, but no, you need detailed answers. So when I do it for 10 days, I will be teaching Sanatan Goswami. And sit there for 10 days, you get the whole philosophy. And then it'll make more sense to you. So he said, yeah, you go there. Text 19. Ehimat bangere lokir kaila mahahito naam diya bhakta kail panaya pandito. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contributed the greatest benefit to the people of East Bengal by initiating them into Harinam, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and making them learned scholars by educating them. So very interesting, saying contributed the greatest benefit. What's the greatest benefit to a human being?
Harinam.
Yeah, being initiated into Harinam. So get your Harinam. That's Harinam initiation and the chanting of the Harinam. Okay, let's see the purport.
I can read through.
Please go ahead.
Following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna conscious movement is distributing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and including people all over the world to chant, inducing people all over the world to chant. We are giving people an immense treasure of transcendental literature translated into all the important languages of the world. And by the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this literature is selling profusely and people are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great delight. This is the preaching process of the Chaitanya cult. Since the Lord wanted this cult preached all over the world, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is acting in a humble way so that the vision of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may be fulfilled all over the world, especially in the Western countries. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, sometimes we don't quite understand the amazing contribution of Srila Prabhupada. So far, 600 million copies of Bhagavad Gita have been distributed across the world. About 80 languages it's been translated into. So you can imagine how many people are benefiting from. There are stories after stories of people in some remote areas chanting the holy name. But somehow they got a book, somehow had the association of Prabhupada, or that association of devotee was preaching them. So it's been an amazing movement. It's been an amazing mercy of the Lord and an amazing contribution by pure devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada. We are all very fortunate that we became part of this. And we're definitely benefited, but we have an obligation to Srila Prabhupada, to our Guru Maharaj, to Lord Chaitanya, to Lord Krishna, to give this Krishna consciousness to other people also. जाके देखो तारे कहो Krishna Upadesh. And it's not a request by the Lord. It's Hamaragya is giving an order. This is order, direct order. Hamaragya Guru Hoya, Taro Desh. Deliver everybody. It's a direct instruction from the Lord. So we have to take this very seriously. Whenever possible, distribute books. Whenever possible, tell people about Krishna. Whenever possible, give them prasadam. We tell people to do bhakti bhakshas and all that. Some people say, but I don't know anything. It doesn't matter. You'd be amazed how suddenly start learning things when you start serving the Lord. It's absolutely amazing. I've seen first-hand experience. You don't know anything, yet you're able to do wonderful class. Because Krishna is Guru speaking through your mouth, Krishna is speaking through your mouth. How can anything go wrong? Just the desire has to be there. So very important. Okay, text 20. Ei mat bange prabhu, kare nana lila, etha navat dipe lakshmi, virahe dukhi hoila. Suddenly we remember this wife at home. Because the Lord was engaged in various ways in preaching work in East Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi was very unhappy at home in separation from her husband. So Vipalamba Bhav is being experienced by Lakshmi Devi. Text 21. Prabhure Viraha Sarp Lakshmire Danshila Viraha Sarp Vishetar Paraloko Haila. The snake of separation bit Lakshmi Devi and its poison caused her death. Thus, she passed to the next world. She went back home, back to God. Well, of course, that's where she came from. She's Lakshmi Devi herself. So, not surprising she went back home, back to Godhead. But the main point is that she could not tolerate the separation from the Lord. And that's the lesson for us. All of us in this material world have been separated from the Lord. But none of them is feeling the separation the way Lakshmi Devi was feeling. I can't breathe without my Lord. How many of us feel that way? I cannot survive without my Lord. I can survive without water, but I cannot survive without my Lord. So that was the condition of Lakshmi Devi, just like the condition of the gopis. But differently from the gopis, she actually gave up her body. I don't want to live in this body without my Lord. Okay, so this is the purport, please.
I can read it.
Oh, Shalini Mataji, go ahead, please.
As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram. One's practice in thinking throughout his entire life determines the quality of his thoughts at death, and thus at death one obtains a suitable body. According to this principle, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune from Vaikunta, who was absorbed in the thought of the Lord in separation from him, certainly went back home to Vaikunta Loka after death. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I think we all understand this point very, very well. Whatever you practice the whole life, that's what you will remember at the time of death, because at the time of death, mind is very disturbed. So whatever you've been trained to think in the times of misery or difficulties, that's what you will think. So if all our life we have learned to call Krishna when we're in trouble, when we're in any kind of difficulty, then at the time of death, that'll come naturally. And so of course, I was not surprising in the case of Mother Lakshmi Devi because she's Lakshmi herself, but in general, that's very applicable. Text 22. Antare janila Prabhu, jate antaryami, deshere aila Prabhu, shachi dukh jani. Lord Chaitanya knew about the disappearance of Lakshmi Devi because he's the super soul himself, right? So he knows, obviously. Thus he returned home to solace his mother, Shachi Devi, who was greatly unhappy about the death of her daughter-in-law. So remember, at that time there were only two people living in that house. Mother and daughter-in-law. And then there was one servant. There was servant. His name was, anybody knows the name of the servant? Very famous personality, was serving Mother Shachi almost all his life. Ishan.
Ishan.
Ishan, yes. So that's it. So I mean, he didn't live in the house, but he was serving all the time. But two people living in that house. So imagine one going away. Text 23. Gare aila Prabhu Bahu, loya dhan jan, tattva gyane kailashachir, dukha vimochan. The Lord returned home, bringing with him great wealth and many followers. Now, this is the personality who says, na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitama jagdish kamai. He brought the money, he brought the followers. But so this is pre-devotee Lila. So it's doing what the karmi people do. Collect the funds, make followers. But the devotees don't do that. He's saying, na dhanam na janam na sundarim. I don't want money, I don't want followers. Okay. So the reason I'm mentioning this, so don't confuse, oh, Lord Chaitanya did that, I can do that. No. Totally different pastime. He spoke to Sachi Devi about transcendental knowledge to relieve her of the grief she was suffering. So she's consoling her because she's feeling so much grief about the departure of her daughter-in-law. So this is the purport. It's a very important purport.
I can read.
Oh, go ahead.
It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.13, Dehinosmen yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptis dhira tatra namuyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Such verses from Bhagavad Gita or any other Vedic literature give valuable instructions on the occasion of someone's passing away. By discussing such instruction from the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, a sober man can certainly understand that the soul never dies, but rather passes from one body to another. This is called transmigration of the soul. A soul comes into the material world and creates bodily relationships with a father, a mother, sisters, brothers, a wife, and children, but all these relationships pertain to the body, not the soul. Therefore, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, Dhiras Tatra Namuhyati, one who sober is not disturbed by such phenomenal changes within this material world. Such instructions are called Tattva Katha or real truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, these are again very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita and telling us about how the body goes through the 6 stages. And similarly, soul transmigrates from one body to another body. And what determines the body is the soul is going to get?
Whatever you remember at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But is there something else? Like what does Kapil Muni tell his mother? Karamna Dev Netrena Jantatyapatte. Because there's so many witnesses. The air god, the wind god, the fire god, the sun god, the moon god, the earth god, they're all witnesses to our actions. And they all give witness. So that becomes another factor in deciding what kind of parents you want to get. Okay. So anyway, the point being, he's consoling her that soul never dies. It goes from one body to another body. So please accept it. Text 24. Shishigan loya puna vidyar vilas vidyavale savajini dhatti prakash. After coming back from East Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began educating others. By the strength of his education, he conquered everyone, and thus he was greatly proud. Proud not so much in the sense of puffed up, right? So puffed up is different from proud.
Yep.
What's the difference?
Be proud, Prabhu, when you know that you know something. Puffed up means you have ego. You are showing off to everyone that I'm better than you.
Yes, that's the main.
Yeah.
When you are showing your ability to put somebody else down,
Yes.
puffed up.
That is popular.
When you're simply aware of your abilities and consider it a grace of the Lord, that is proud, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, you're humble. When you consider every talent you have as a grace of the Lord, that's being humble. If you think you got it on your own, from your own efforts, and you use this to put everybody else down, that is puffed up. And that's not good. Okay? Text 25. तबे विष्णु प्रिया ठाकुर आनेरे परिणय तबे तो करेले प्रभु दिग्विजयी जय. So now next set of pastimes. Then Lord Chaitanya married Vishnupriya, the goddess of fortune, and thereafter he conquered a champion of learning named Keshav Kashmiri. Okay, so let's read the first paragraph. We'll skip the second paragraph.
I can
Yeah, go ahead, Meena, please go ahead.
purport. As in the modern day, there are many champions in sports. So in bygone days, there were many learned scholars in India who were champions in learning. One such person was Keshav Kashmiri, who came from the state of Kashmir. He traveled all over India and at last came to Navdeep to challenge the learned scholars there. Unfortunately, he could not conquer the learned scholars in Navdeep, for he was defeated by the boy scholar Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, he understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he surrendered unto him and later became a pure Vaishnava in the Sampradaya of Nimbark. He wrote Kastubha Prabha, a commentary on the Vedanta commentary, of the Nimbark Sampradaya, which is known as Parijat Bhashya.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yes, thank you. So actually, if you want, skip all the names and read from there. So text number 29, Keshav Kashmiri, and then read from there.
Okay, Keshav Kashmir. It is stated in the Bhakti Ratnakar that Keshav Kashmir was a favorite devotee of Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. By her grace, he was an extremely influential scholar, and he was the great champion among all the scholars in the four corners of the country. Therefore, he got the title Digvijay, which means one who has conquered everyone in all directions. He belonged to a very respectable Brahmana family of Kashmir. Later, by the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave up the profession of winning championships and became a great devotee. He joined the Nimbark Sampradaya, one of the Vaishnavas community of Vedic culture.
Thank you. So we'll discuss this pastime in very great detail in the rest of the chapter. But basically, his name was Keshav because he was a Kashmir. He was known as Keshav Kashmiri. And in those days, actually, there were these professional scholars whose role would be to organize championships where people will debate. And then, this winner selected, or they will travel, challenging local people wherever they go and defeating them, and then getting a certificate from them saying they were defeated. We know the same story that happened with this person who came and challenged Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And they said, I don't want to argue. They said, well, then you have to give a certificate that I won. So that's okay. So they wrote a certificate saying this person won. I think his name was Rup Narayan. And Jiva Goswami, who was the nephew of these two brothers, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, found that. He got very angry and debated with him at the bank of Radhakund and defeated him. But interestingly, when Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami found out that Jiva Goswami did that, what do you think they did? Any guesses?
They
Yeah, they asked.
chastised him. Yeah.
They chastised him. You
Mm.
become so puffed up, you want to go and defeat people so you can say you are a better scholar? What's this nonsense? So talk about humility. Anyway, these people didn't have any humility, and they were into winning and getting certificates. So Keshav Kashmiri, in traveling in the whole country, decided that he's going to come to Navadvip. Why did he want to come to Navadvip? Because Navadvip was a place famous for scholars. It was a place of education in India, the place of education. So everybody came there to study and become a scholar. So he said, well, I'm such a big scholar, I'm going to go and defeat everybody. Then everybody will accept my supremacy in the whole world. So with that thought process, he came to Navadvip. Now, when the existing scholars, learned scholars in Navadvip found out that he has visited, they said, we are sure we'll get defeated. And then we'll get bad name. So they ran away. They literally ran away from the city. So they won't, Divijay Pandit or Keshav Kashmiri will not find him. And they did not tell Lord Chaitanya that they're leaving. So they said, well, only person he will find is Nimai Pandit. Nimai Pandit is 11 years old. So if he defeats Nimai Pandit, they'll say, what's the big deal? He defeated a child. And if he gets defeated by Nimai Pandit, we'll say, what would you think about debating us? You can't even defeat a child in our city. So how will you debate with us? So both ways they win. So that was their thought process, and they ran away. So the rest of the pastime starts in the next feature texts. Text 26. Vrindavan das iha karya chhen vistar sput nahi kare dosh gunere vichar. Vrindavan Das Thakur, has previously elaborately described this. That which is clear need not be scrutinized for good qualities and faults. So this 13th chapter, Adikhand of Chaitanya Bhagavat, where this particular pastime is described in very great detail. And Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, Vrindavan Thakur has already described it, and it's so clearly described it, there's no need to scrutinize it for good qualities and bad. So therefore, I'm not going to give the details. I'll just give very brief summary for the reference purposes only. Text 27. Sahi ansha kahitare kari namaskar, Jashwani Digvijay Kail apna dhikkar. Offering my obeisances to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall try to describe that portion of the loss analysis which, when he heard it, made the Digvijay feel himself condemned. So he's saying, I'll only talk about the actual argument, the debate, I should say, not argument, the actual debate. I will not talk about any other details. That detail that I have given to you. Okay. And the other detail that I did not give but was read in the paragraph, that he was a devotee of Mother Saraswati. So Saraswati is the goddess of learning. So if she sits on your tongue, clearly you become the most learned and nothing ever comes out wrong. And therefore you keep winning. So with that mood, he had come here. Text 28. Jyotsna vati ratri prabhu shishigana sange bosiya chen ganga tire vidyar prasange. Once on a full moon night, the Lord was sitting on the bank of the Ganges with many disciples and discussing literary topics. So it wasn't a formal class going on at that time, but the discussion was going on. Text 29. Hen kale digvijay tahai aila gangare vandanakari prabhure milila. Coincidentally, Keshav Kashmiri Pandit came there. While offering his prayers to Mother Ganges, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So clearly it was arranged by the Lord, but it looked like it was a coincidence. Because he came that day, wandering around the city, didn't find anybody, came to the bank of the Ganges, and he saw this boy sitting there discussing these literary topics with his students. That boy was Nimai Pandit. Text 30. Bosaila tare prabhu adar kariya, digvijay kahe mane avagya kariya. The Lord received him with adoration. That's the Lord's humility. You're such a great scholar. You're world famous. Everybody, respects you for your knowledge. You all acknowledge you're such a great person. He's doing all that. But because Keshav Kashmiri was very proud, he talked to the Lord very inconsiderately. So here's the contradiction. The Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is being so humble and offering his praises. And this insignificant person, being puffed up by his little bit of knowledge, is speaking so inconsiderately to the Lord himself. And that's the difference between the Lord and a conditioned soul. Text 31. व्याकरण पढ़ाई निमाय पंडित तुम्हार नाम बाल शास्त्र लोके तुम्हार कहे गुणग्राम. See how insulting. Read this. I understand, this Digvijay Pandit speaking. I understand that you are a teacher of grammar. That's considered the lowest level. He said, and that your name is Nimai Pandit. People speak very highly of a teaching of the beginner's grammar. And not only grammar is the lowest, you're teaching beginner's grammar. You're just a little kid. What am I going to do with you? So puffed up. The Lord is being so humble, he's being so puffed up. So let's the purport.
I can read, Prabhu?
Please go ahead, yes, Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Formerly, the Sanskrit schools first taught grammar very thoroughly, and this system continues even now. A student was supposed to study grammar carefully for 12 years in the beginning of his life, because if one is expert in the grammar of the Sanskrit language, all the sastras are open to him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was famous for teaching grammar to students, and therefore Keshav Kashmiri first referred to his position as a teacher of grammar. Keshav Kashmiri was very proud of his literary career. He was far above the first lessons of grammar. So he thought the position of Nimai Pandita not at all comparable to his own. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, it's like Kashmiri Pandit has a PhD, and the Lord is a grade 1. And the one the PhD is showing off. Has anybody seen the play called The Boatman?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have seen.
You have seen?
And, actually, Krishnadas Kaviraj was playing it in the
Yes.
in the temple,
Yes. So nobody else has. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly tell the story. And the story is that a very highly educated man wants to cross a river, and he finds a boatman with a boat, and he asks him to take him across the river. So boatman says, okay. And as soon as the educated man gets on the boat, he has to show off. And he says to the boatman, so what do you know about chemistry? The boatman says, nothing. Oh, then you wasted 1/4 of your life.
Acha.
He says, okay. After someone says, so what do you know about physics? And boatman says, nothing. Then you wasted another 1/4 of your life.
Another quarter.
Half your life is wasted.
Hmm.
Okay, fine. After someone says, what do you know about
Biology.
mathematics? Boatman says, nothing. Then you wasted 3/4 of your life. He says, okay, fine. He didn't say anything. Suddenly a storm came.
Ah.
And the boat was moving like crazy, like a cork in a very big waves. The boatman asked this educated man, sir, do you know how to swim? He says, no.
No.
Okay, then you wasted your full life. And he jumps off the boat. So that's the point. That's the point. You don't know what the real thing is, and being so puffed up about something that's useless. I mean, how is the knowledge of chemistry, physics, and math going to help you in your next life? You're all going to be left behind. Only your Krishna consciousness is going to go with you. Right? But Digvijay Pandit is so puffed up, he does not understand these things. He's just showing off and being insulting in the process. Okay, 32. व्याकरण मध्य जानी पढ़ाऊ का लाप शिनलु फाकते तोमार शिष्येर संलाप. It continues this bad behavior. Translation. I understand this, Digvijay Pandit speaking. I understand that you teach Kalap Vyakaran. I've heard that your students are very expert in the word jugglery of this grammar. Okay, let's read the purport. It'll explain a few things here.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
There are many schools of grammar in the Sanskrit language, the most famous of which are the system of Panini and Kalap and Kaumudi grammar. There were different branches of grammatical knowledge, and the student of grammar was supposed to study them all in 12 years. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was famous as Nimai Pandit, taught grammar to his students, who became expert in dealing with the word jugglery of the complicated grammar. Almost anyone expert in studying grammar interprets the Shastras in many ways by changing the roots meaning of the word. A student of grammar can sometimes completely change the meaning of the sentence by juggling the grammatical rules. Keshav Bharti indirectly taunted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by implying that although he was a great teacher of grammar, such a grammatical jugglery of root meanings did not require great expertise. This was a challenge to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because it was prearranged that Keshav Bharti would have to discuss the Shastras with Nimai Pandit. From the very beginning, he wanted to bluff the Lord. Thus, the Lord replied as follows.
Thank you. So, now increasing his insult. He's saying, you teach Kalap Vyakaran. So now, in the purport says Panini and the Kalap. So Panini is the basic rules of Sanskrit grammar. Actually, about 4,000 rules, Sanskrit grammar. That's why it takes about 12 years to learn. Of course, Lord Chaitanya did not spend 12 years to learn because at 11 he was teaching it. But for ordinary students, it takes 12 years to learn the basic rules. That's Panini, but that is considered too complex. So therefore, the Kalap Vyakaran, Kalap grammar was created to simplify it. So what he's saying is that not only a teacher of very basic grammar, but your students are learning even more basic than that. I mean, that's nothing. So Panini is low enough, it's basic enough. Kalap is a simplification of Panini, which is even more simple. So implying, what will you know? What will you know? Will you even understand what I say? Like height of insulting. Okay. Now let's see what the Lord says. Text 33. प्रभु कहे व्याकरण पढ़ाई अभिमान करी शिष्यते न बुझे आमी बुझाइते नारी. The Lord said, yes, I'm known as the teacher of grammar, but factually I cannot impress my students with grammatical knowledge, nor can they understand me very well. So now, because Kashmir is so puffed up, the Lord is increasing his puffed up by presenting himself as subordinate to him. I mean, Lord's humility is unbelievable. But he's being sarcastic. And this guy, so puffed up, does not understand the sarcasm. So let's read 34. Now the Lord is being even more sarcastic by flattering him. कहाँ तुम्ही सर्वशास्त्रे कवित्व प्रवीण कहाँ आमी सबे शिशु पढ़ुया नवीन. My dear sir, where you are a very learned scholar in all sorts of scriptures and are very much experienced in composing poetry, I'm only a boy, a new student, and nothing more. What do I know? I'm a little kid. You're the expert, you're the PhD. I'm still grade 1 or maybe JK, junior kindergarten. You know? And this guy's lapping it all up, saying, wow, yeah, that's finally this guy understands who I am. Text 35. The Lord continues. तुम्हारा कवित्व किछु सुनते होए मन कृपा करी करो यदि गंगार वर्णन. You know, when people go fishing, they throw the bait. So the Lord is baiting him now. What's he doing? Translation. Therefore, the Lord says, I desire to hear your skill in composing poetry. You could hear this if you would mercifully describe the glory of Mother Ganges. Here's the bait. And he's going to get it hook, line, and sinker. It's coming up. So the Lord is saying, please be merciful upon us. Describe the glory of Mother Ganges. You know, when somebody's quiet, we may suspect he's a fool, but we don't know that. But when he speaks, we know he's a fool. The suspicion is gone. There's no suspicion left. Right? I'm talking about a person who's foolish. So the Lord is giving him an opportunity to remove any doubts about his foolishness. Okay, go ahead, speak, please. Text 36. Shunya Brahman Garve Varnite Lagila Ghati Ek Shat Shlok Gangara Varnila. So now it's bit the bait. When the Brahmana Keshav Kashmiri heard this, he became still more puffed up. And within 1 hour, he composed 100 verses describing Mother Ganges. So 100 verses in 1 hour, which means 1.5 verses in 1 minute, which means 40 seconds per verse. I mean, that's very impressive. Brand new verses, start memorizing it, creating them, writing them. There's a term in Sanskrit called Ashukavi. Ashukavi means instant poet. You ask him to do some poetry, immediately start saying. This guy was doing that. So he's learned it, there's no question about it. But being puffed up is not justified, we'll see it. Text 37. So he heard it patiently for 1 hour. He heard 100 verses. Now see what's happening. Text 37. Shuniya karile Prabhu bahut satकार Tomasam prithvite kabhi nahi aar. The Lord praised him, saying, Sir, there's no greater poet than you in the entire world. A little more bait. Now he's getting really puffed up. There's nobody greater than you. You know it. You're good. You're good. You understand me. You know my value. Okay. Text 38. तुम्हारे कविता श्लोक बूझते कार शक्ति तुम्ही भाल जान अर्थ किवा सरस्वती. So more bait coming up. Your poetry is so difficult that no one can understand it. But you and Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, only you two, you and Mother Saraswati can understand. Nobody else. Who are we? We cannot understand it. It is so great. Okay, let's read the purport. Anybody else who's not read it yet?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Ashok Prabhu, please go
Yes.
ahead.
Replying to Keshav Kashmiri sarcastically, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indirectly minimized the value of his poetry by saying, Yes, your compositions are so nice that no one but you and your worshipable mother, the goddess of learning, can understand them. Keshav Kashmiri was a favorite devotee of Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the master of the goddess of learning, has the right to speak sarcastically of her devotees. In other words, although Keshav Kashmiri was proud of being favored by the goddess of learning, he did not know that she is controlled by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself because he is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So the Lord controls everyone. The Lord is the master of everyone. So you can speak sarcastically about Mother Saraswati and the student of Mother Saraswati. So he's doing that. Oh, it's so difficult. And Kashmiri Pandit is taking that as a praise. Oh, it's so difficult to understand, therefore you must be very good. And again, going back to the example, some people give a class that nobody understands and they think they're great. But they're not. Class is about people understanding what you're saying, not about them not understanding what you're saying. But this guy, hearing that nobody else understands what he's saying, is very happy. Look at me, how great I am. Text 39. এই শ্লোকের অর্থ যদি করি নিজ মুখে শুনি সব লোক তবে পাইবে বড় সুখে. Now, does anybody know what a dhobi part is? There's a term in wrestling, dhobi part, which is where you take a person, make him come over your back and flip him.
Yeah.
Paws flat on his back. That's called dhobi part. So this is dhobi part move. Now that's is basically going to make him flat on the back.
In wrestling, probably.
In wrestling, yes. But if you explain the meaning of one verse, you can all hear it from your own mouth. Thus be very happy. Now the trap is getting tighter. Text 40. So you're saying, but just one of them. Not 100, just one of them. Explain it. Text 40. तबे दिग्विजय व्याख्यार श्लोक पुछिल शत श्लोकेर एक श्लोक प्रभुत पढ़िल. The Digvijay Kashmiri Keshav Kashmiri inquired which verse. Now knowing that this little boy cannot repeat any of those verses, instead of taking one himself, he's saying, no, you tell me which verse, because he thinks I can embarrass this boy. They say, oh, I don't remember any, just take any one. So he said, which one? The Lord then recited one of the 100 verses Keshav Kashmiri had composed. So, but the Lord recited. Lord said one of them, I think it was number 64, according to Chaitanya Bhagavat. 64th of the 100. And that's the verse, text 41. Mahatvam Gangaya Satatam Idam Abhati Nitaram Yad Eshashi Vishnu's Charana Kamalotpati Subhaga Ditiya Shri Lakshmi Iva Suranarayar Archa Charana Bhavani Bhartur Yashirasi Vibhavati Adbhut Guna. Translation. The greatness of Mother Ganges always brilliantly exists. She is the most fortunate because she emanated from the lotus feet of Shri Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. She is the second goddess of fortune and therefore she is always worshipped both by demigods and by humanity. Endowed with all wonderful qualities, she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva. So that's the verse. Okay. Then he said, text 42, यही श्लोकेर अर्थ करो, प्रभु यदि बैल विस्मित होया दिग्विजयी प्रभु रे पूछो. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to explain the meaning of this verse. The champion, very much astonished, inquired from him as follows. So I'm going to stop here, 9:30, and we'll take it from here. I'm going to leave in suspense what happens after this. So we'll start with text 43 next week. Any questions or comments in the meantime?
Prabhuji,
Huh.
I have one question.
Yes.
Why these scholars people in those days used to go and argue with other scholarly persons?
Debate, yeah.
They get something from that?
Yeah, the name and the fame. So the more famous they were, the more students they'll get, the more money they will get. The more fame they get, the more praise they get. Wherever they go, everybody knows their name. That's what they thrive on. It's all ego.
And they used to do argument on the Vedas only then?
Yeah, it will be all shastric, not arguments, debates. So they'll debate, debate each other, and somebody will surrender. They say, yeah, you're right, and they give them a certificate. So they collected certificate. Like for example, you go to a doctor's office, and the whole wall is full of certificates.
Okay.
Certificate of this, certificate of that, because they want to impress you that look how much they know. So same thing. He'll have the whole file of the certificates and say to everybody, look, this person gave a certificate, that person gave it, that person gave it, this famous person gave it. That's their ego satisfaction.
And from that, outcome was nothing to
Outcome
know.
of satisfaction of their ego and the money and the fame. That's what it is. What does anybody want in this world? In the material world, that's what people want. Everybody should know how great they are, and everybody should get some money. Right?
Also, Prabhuji, this was a part of our culture, right? Before that, Vada Samvad used to happen amongst the all the acharyas, and that was more of a exchange of gyan and ideas and philosophy. However, it became sort of deranged and point of ego than gaining more knowledge and insights.
That's absolutely correct. Yes. Ruchira Mata, you have a question? Ruchira Mata, you have raised your hand. Okay, maybe we lost her. Anyone else? Okay.
Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you all so much.
Good night. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
At the end, it became very interesting.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Very interesting class.
Yes, Mataji. That's Thank you.
At the end,
Very
it
sweet.
became more
Yes.
enjoyable.
Hare boss.
I'm sorry, Prabhu, we were late today.
That's okay. No worries. No worries.
So was I because of my iPad. Even yesterday, same thing happened.
Yes.
Same here, Prabhu. Thursday somehow, I love Chaitanya Charitamrita like anything, but somehow Thursdays is a little busier for me, so I was late again.
Oh, that's okay. No
But
worries. At least you joined. That's good.
the language itself is so sweet.
I know. That's so true.
Sissy.
That's so true.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Looking forward to next class. Hare
Sure,
Bol.
same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.